It's a long way from beaches and blue skies. This is the dark side of the islands.
Children they having injection here, this place, like especially at the back of the bus stop. Also, people sit here and shoot up.
On the streets of Suva, Fiji's capital, the drug trade is thriving. Police say they're seeing it everywhere.
The police have now this big challenge of trying to maintain and to fight this new menace that is here with us, and that is the white drugs that come in.
The Fiji police force yesterday seized 3 tons of methamphetamine.
Huge shipments from Mexican drug cartels are using Fiji as a staging point to infiltrate larger drug markets in Australia and New Zealand. And as criminals sail through our ocean backyard, families and communities are decimated in their wake. And the battle to stop drugs arriving in the first place starts here. Almost 1 million tourists arrive in Fiji every year. And this is the welcome most tourists expect when arriving in Fiji. But this one is a little different.
What do you see the dogs looking for?
Hard drugs, arms and ammunition, cash, and cannabis. Sometimes we find cash, sometimes the passengers admit that they are drug users.
The team here at Nadi Airport do what they can, but with just 2 sniffer dogs covering the entire country, huge shipments are getting in with ease.
Just 5 minutes away from Fiji's gateway airport in Nadi, in this shed,
one of the biggest drug busts the world has ever seen took place. Police found 4.8 tons of methamphetamine,
with a street value of $2 billion.
The case stunned authorities and the country. 13 people have since been charged. Police corruption is also a major problem. Serious cases of drug tampering and bribery have been uncovered in recent years.
We are now arresting police who happen to be dealing in drugs. And the numbers are concerning.
The scale of the problem has prompted Home Affairs Minister Pio Tikonduandua to announce he would be implementing a new strategy to tackle police corruption.
Nobody wants to hear a story about a police being taken in for corruption, dealing in drugs. But the fact that now that we are doing it means that we are doing something right.
From Mexico, smugglers travel across the vast Pacific and use Fiji and neighboring islands Tonga and Samoa as transit points. The cartels use contacts in the Pacific, as well as outlaw motorcycle gangs, to distribute the drugs locally and onto the more lucrative Australian and New Zealand markets.
This problem of drugs is everywhere. It's everywhere. There's not enough boats to go around.
Thank you very much for your time. Okay, so what are we looking at?
Well, in here is what we call the Fiji Maritime Surveillance Rescue Coordination Center. We initially started from scratch, there's a couple of computers a couple of years back, and then with the support of government, we were able to upgrade most of our kit to where it is now.
The eyes and ears of Fiji's exclusive economic zone, Commander Humphrey Tawake, says the Navy has been effective in patrolling the country's territorial seas, but it's not enough.
These guys are so organized that they'll do whatever it takes to achieve their mission. They've got unlimited resources. They've got their roots, they're well established. So this is something that, in my view, that we need to work together from all government stakeholders, because the social impact it's currently having on our society is so bad.
Back on the streets, police say even teenagers are injecting drugs and sharing needles.
15 years to 18 years.
So a few of them will share one
syringe.
It's basically the heart of the capital. We're at the water's edge, and this is a red zone. This is where young people sit and shoot up. And I'm pretty shocked. And I'm asking the police officer, aren't these kids frightened? This is, people are going past, people can see them. And she says they're not frightened of people. They don't respect people's attention, but they respect the attention of the police. It's when they see the police that they stop shooting up.
In Samoa, drugs-related arrests are on the rise, but it hasn't deterred people from openly dealing in public. I'm at Fungalei Market, a place where drug dealers are known to operate.
a o nofo se tama yo o tafa sa yaile awala fo ila le na o vaia fatino se awala pe fo ile na watu ore tangata le fenga luenga ma tuulo na lima tupi ile tamala le sa fa ai pitai na o vaia tu langa le vabe fo ile na ole atu sa tau ave tamalea ma ai followa tango loa ile au maile la au ma ole ile tu limo tamalea
ono taluina o vai foi ole mele fa talipas o tupulanga light.
The Ministry of Police recently proposed the establishment of a drug control board to monitor pharmaceuticals entering the country. I reached out to a former drug dealer to talk to us. He agreed to be interviewed so long as we don't reveal his identity.
The truth is, the drugs have spread rapidly. Nowadays, they're being sold in public places. There's a determination to make a lot of money. I know that the amount of meth or ice by the size of your fist is worth more than $10,000.
This man says he was the medium between drug sellers and users, earning around $700 for one night of work.
The first reason why I wanted to change was the fact that if discovered, I'd have been dishonored. I had to think about my children, my wife, and especially my family.
He was eventually fined by his village, a type of punishment that's becoming more common in Samoa, where leaders are taking it upon themselves to protect their communities.
Matangata ro lato whaiandemea. Whasalanga e anu. Oe are mawai marwana. Matoto ina le whala au whasai. E lua se lau o matua. A whatino tino tupi. E lua. O loo iai fo ile whaitoto al mato no o loo whai o loo iai la wala ngā rui. Ia a o la teimio whai ngā loto. I leo tele nu. Matau le lea.
Despite their efforts, drugs are still getting in. Since 2018, the Salvation Army have had nearly 2,000 people referred to the Alcohol and Drug Rehabilitation Program from the Ministry of Justice. The highest referrals are people aged between 19 to 29. In Samoa, like much of the Pacific, there are very limited resources to manage the social problems caused by drugs.
I remember 20 years ago when I was working as a youth worker in New Zealand, they say, oh, I'm using marijuana, I'm drinking beer, I'm smoking cigarettes. Before I left in 2018, I asked the same age group and they say, oh, I don't use marijuana, I don't use beer, but I use methamphetamine, I use ice. So that's my fear, because I've seen that happening over there and I could see that it's coming to our shores. So very concerned. We're facing a massive mountain and massive problem here. So we need 10 other or more services like the Salvation Army here. But we also need to be careful. We need to have properly trained clinicians.
Tonga is also struggling to manage the increase of drug use. The prison here is also experiencing an influx of inmates convicted of drug offenses. I've got mixed emotions right now. Scared, worried, definitely curious. Curious because I want to know what they want to share with me. I traveled to Toritori prison to speak firsthand with convicted drug offenders, with used pseudonyms and obscured their identities.
I'm in here because I got caught with 8 ounces of 5 with crystal, 2 with coke, and 1 with marijuana.
It's an increasingly common story, and many are lured by the financial rewards.
Naku whahawa mo kilo pe hongo fulu he whakapuna he peki. Ka wate mo hongo fulu maha te umau fui taha kilo he fui kilo.
They also told us how international the drug trade in Tonga has become.
O koneki pe ka kai peo. O pe ke kau pai late koe. Kau e hostess ko ngau e aki. Kau angi pe fuge nau konga koe konga fuge tila. Koe tau palapare ma fuolo a koe kaiha. Koe tolai taha api koe kaiha. Koe tuka he taimini. Koe tolai taha he taimini koe whai toko ana tau.
Prison Commissioner Semisi Tapueluelu has been working in the prison system since the 70s. He had hopes for turning Toritori into a place of true reform and rehabilitation, but without proper support, the prison and its inmates slipped through the cracks.
Raha popula o kai ke lava e whakariri tangatai. Fo I mau taimata tawe mau pa. Ka koe mea ia o whaamu koe ki ai. Pea taha mea maho inga taha ai, koe mea koe ke lava. Kia te au koe utui, o koe fumahina ke pureanga.
Life here is hard, particularly for women.
O mau tu toko lahi, ia me kau malu I o mai tau toko lahi I loto. Pau ke me mau o popula pe toko ua na toko whaere na ua na ia taktaha he loki. Pau ke toenga lewa mau tolu ko kau popula toko no o mau itu agi mau tolu I he whakawhare tolo pe fuspui pe o tuka mau ngai mohenga mau nofo ai.
Prisoner Sella says she was arrested after she and her partner found cocaine packages that had washed ashore. From the confines of prison, she watched her family come apart.
He go I ni ko loto whare ke he tolu ke ki whanau ko hea ke nau tolu hai. Ka ko lea pe whae o mai ka te au. Ko ne mea pe utangi ke ai pe o ko ki he I kai ke I api. Mo ni ko whakaore ore I he kukui te whakaore ore I pe he whae ka ke nalawa ke tā I ke nalawa. Ka ko e ku I he ni ko I he ni whataha mau tangata e ki. Whihia mai pe tangata e ki he mea pe ko I te au. Koe ke I fo nofo he ni he siogi he nau mo te pe he